Hi, and welcome to episode 19 of United, a podcast for change. I am Lori, your host. And before we get started, just please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Links are in the description. And tonight we are talking about uh, Trump again. I really don't want this to turn into a talking about Trump channel. Um, However, he is a former president and a current nominee, or a current candidate, I should say, for the Republican nominee for 2024. And there are a shit ton of cases that are either going on or coming up. Um, so, just in the nature of current events, news items, we're going to have to talk about Trump. Um, and yes, while I am a Democrat, I don't hate Trump. I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. Um, that's not what this podcast is about. It's not about hating on anybody that, it's not about hating on Trump or anybody that likes Trump. The reason why the thumbnail and the title have to do with basically Trump being over has to do with the recording that leaked from somewhere. Could have been somebody from the DOJ. It could have been the writer that made the initial recording. It could have been somebody on Trump's team. We don't know who the leak is. I don't actually care who the leak is. If it's somebody from the DOJ, then that person should be dealt with by the DOJ because you don't do that. It's supposed to be, you know, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to leak. At the same time, a lot of the evidence, and just the whole transparency of the court, the cases, we're going to get that evidence. We're going to get the witness list. All of that information is going to come out because of, our right as citizens to know what's going on in a court case. These aren't secret. This actual case isn't secret. The only part of court that is secret is a grand jury proceeding. So as for the, where did it go? As for the recording, let's get that up. Oh no, not that one, not that one, not that one. I'm very sorry. This one. Come on. And this is the that that worked 5 minutes ago. There it goes.
These are bad, sick people.
Okay, that's apparently not the
That was
right
your cue,
recording.
against
Anyway, it is the recording of the transcript, part of the transcript that is within the indictment, where he's shuffling papers and they hear, look at this. Um, it was bad enough in the indictment to have a transcript, to have the actual recording, hearing him going, here, look at this. Look what, Millie made for me. This is top secret. I could have declassified this when I was president, but I didn't, and now I can't. This audio alone is the former president, admitting to those 31 counts. It's admitting to having a classified document. It's admitting that he understands the declassification process and that he did not follow it while he was president, and that he cannot declassify once he is no longer president. It also admits, it's him admitting in July of 2021 that he lost the election, because if he believed that he won the election and he was still the president, um, then he would be saying something different. He would be arguing that he could still declassify because he's still president. Election stolen. I'm the rightful president. And he doesn't say that. He clearly says that he does not have the authorization to declassify a document at that point. And again, like the indictment about the documents, it has to do with the willful retention and dissemination, which means you're telling somebody about, the contents. And he does, to somebody that doesn't have clearance. And he does that. Here, look at this. Ghostwriter on Mark Meadows' book who doesn't have clearance. And we're going to start seeing Republicans start shying away from Trump. They're going to hem and haw. They're going to because the thing is, they know that they need Trump supporters in order to win in 2024. So, they're going to be, I would hate to think this about a president. Or you're going to see some that are, that really don't have a shot. Vote for me, I'll pardon him. Because the thing is, he can't pardon himself. And, initially when the indictment came out and people actually, read it, you did see Asa Hutchinson, who is another candidate, immediately was just, nope. Trump should withdraw from the race. Mitt Romney, nope. Mike Pence has hemmed and hawed a little bit. The most he's gone so far is, just this like hypothetical, like, I'd hate to think that, that a president would blah, blah. I can't defend what's in the indictment, but then won't actually come right out and say, Trump should withdraw. Trump has no business being president ever again. We should back off and let the justice system do its thing, however it plays out. You're going to see some of that. And then just as the months progress, we're going to see more Republicans. Kevin McCarthy has, just been quoted as saying that, like, maybe Trump's not the right candidate to win in 2024. And the thing is, that's where it's going to go. It's the airing of this tape is the beginning of the end of, Trump in politics. And Trump supporters, you don't have it on your own to get Trump back into the White House. I think Trump supporters are at like 38%, which it's not enough. And really, do you want someone in the Oval Office that is so careless with national defense information? Because if you think about it, like, that the document being spoken about in this audio is purportedly, potential attack plans against a foreign country, against Iran. Um, you know, a an attack plan made up for the president. It's going to have all the best stuff in it. It's. I mean, think of how if you were putting together a battle plan, the type of information that you would have to include for the plan. It's like writing a football play, and that would include our troops, what kinds of troops, where they would be positioned, with what type of equipment, and if that information gets out, and we don't know yet if it did or didn't, but having that information out in an insecure location, it puts our servicemen and women, our service members, at risk. It puts, by extension, it puts the country at risk. If somebody got a hold of, a potential attack plan that included our troop information, our weaponry information, potentially where the weaponry is located and where it would be coming from, and it's here's the route. It could give an ally, information to come at our troops like fish in a barrel. And do you want that? Do you support that? Would you support any president who, not for nothing, is the commander in chief of the armed services of all of our troops? Would you want someone as president behind that desk in the Oval that put our service members at risk and opened them up to potential massacre? Like, we don't have enough wounded veterans that Washington doesn't do enough for. We don't have enough Gold Star families who lost, sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers. We don't have enough. I don't hate Trump, but at the same time, I wouldn't vote for anyone that doesn't respect our most secret of information. Oh, and I forgot how this all works. If you would like to join the conversation through comments, you are more than welcome to do so. If that's how you're comfortable communicating with me, you also have the option of joining the conversation. There's a link in the episode description. It's at the very top. It says join the conversation. There's a link. If you click on that link, we'll open up another window. You follow the prompts and you will appear on screen next to me. Because this podcast also isn't about just me talking. It is about speaking with everyone, having conversations with normal, everyday Americans, no matter where you're from, your political background, religious beliefs, sexual orientation, your gender, your age, none of that matters. Everyone is welcome here. the only thing that I ask for is that we all treat each other with respect. Let's save the F Trump and the FJB, kind of thing. Just that's really not what we're about or what we do here. So I do ask that people refrain from that. And so far, knock on wood, ish. So far, so good. With that, everyone has been respectful, and that's just been amazing. I do also want to express my condolences to the family and friends of everyone who perished in the Ocean Gate submarine implosion, as well as the refugees who lost their lives off the coast of Greece last week as well. I'm not going to comment on billionaires or millionaires going into the sub. I do feel the worst for the 19-year-old kid who didn't want to go but only went because he wanted to spend time with his father because it was Father's Day. I'm not going to celebrate the loss of life. They took risks, and those risks got them, and that's why it's risk. But I saw a lot of memes, a lot of disappointing comments, and this may be me virtue signaling. I don't even care. It costs nothing to be kind, and as far as the whole, it's a distraction that the submarine and the whole thing in Russia, the coup that wasn't a coup, that was kind of a coup, that those things being distractions on the Hunter Biden investigation. First of all, the Hunter Biden investigation has been going on for 5 years. For 5 years, we've been hearing about the laptop that is never going to be able to be used in a court of law because too many hands have touched it. And the repair shop guy has already said that it looks different than how it did when he had it. So all Hunter Biden's attorneys would have to do is get this guy on the stand to say that. I mean, and he's already said it in news interviews. So all they have to do is get him on the stand to say that, and either they can get the laptop stricken, or have the jury disregard. I mean, it's if it ever gets to that, to a point like that, it's it's ridiculous to think that this would be a distraction in the media. People look at what they look at. There was still reporting on, the whistleblowers, whoever they are, the investigation, the House investigation into the alleged bribery scheme. And once there's actual evidence, that will be covered here as well. As of right now, there is still no evidence. There is just the report, the FD 1023, which is just a record of a conversation with a confidential human source who said that some other person said that they have audio tapes outlining some bribery scheme with mostly Hunter and in a little bit, in a little way, Joe Biden. Nobody knows if these tapes actually exist or if the information in the 1023 is accurate as far as the underlying information. It's accurate in the sense that this is what the confidential human source reported to the FBI. This is a recording of that conversation, a record of that conversation. So in that sense, it's accurate. But the content of the conversation, that hasn't been verified. But if it is, and there is evidence, we will certainly cover that here. Yes, I am a Democrat. However, if any Democrat breaks the law and there's evidence that they've broken the law, lock them up. I am definitely for country over party. Like I don't care. As far as the Trump case down in Florida, as of right now, the trial date is scheduled for August 14th. The government, DOJ, Jack Smith's people, they have filed a motion to postpone the trial to December 11th. There is currently a pretrial conference scheduled or pretrial hearing, whatever you want to call it, for July 14th. Today was supposed to be the co-defendant Walt Nauda's arraignment. However, he was a no-show in court due to some plane delays. And there is also a delay as he is still currently unable to find local counsel. So he has an attorney, but that attorney isn't entered into the federal bar so that attorney could appear, in the federal court. And the federal court down there, they have a process where if you want someone, your attorney who isn't licensed there, it's called pro hoc vice, which is Latin for for this one time. And, because when you get your law degree, you then have to get your law license and you have to pass the bar in whatever state that you want to practice law in. If you want to practice law in multiple states, you have to pass the bar in multiple states. And there is state court and there's federal court. Federal court has it's different. Passing the state bar doesn't mean that you can automatically go right into federal court and argue a case in federal court. So in Florida, if you have an attorney that is not admitted to the federal district there, and you want to appear pro hoc vice, you have to have a local attorney who is admitted to basically vouch for your attorney. And it's the same thing that Trump has done. His attorney, I want to say Todd Blanche, is not he's not admitted to that federal district. So there is Christopher Kise, Kise. He is the local attorney vouching for Trump's attorney, who is appearing pro hoc vice. And Walt Nauta doesn't have one of those yet. So his arraignment has now been postponed to July 6th. So, hopefully between now and then, he will get that local counsel, um, because I really can't imagine the court just continuing to delay his arraignment. I mean, I would imagine at some point that if worse comes to worse, that the federal judge, Judge Cannon, or even the magistrate judge, Judge Reinhardt, will just appoint someone to stand in as local counsel for Walt Nauta. Because it just seems weird to me that it's, oh, we can't actually indict this person because their attorney doesn't have local counsel. Um, it would seem that if that was going to actually delay the case, that every federal defendant in that district would be like, can't find local counsel. Sorry, can't indict me. I'm allowed to go run free. So that just doesn't make. I could see a little bit of a delay, but at the end of the day, the judge is probably going to end up just saying, "Okay, you're going to be local counsel." Um, and so the prosecution, the government, has filed a case filed a motion to postpone the trial to December. And let me look at the docket real quick, see if there's anything new. Responses to that motion. So that would be from Donald Trump's attorneys, from Walt Nauta's attorneys. Responses to the motion to continue are due by July 7th. The prosecution also filed a motion initially. Initially, the judge in the case, the special magistrate judge, when Trump and Nauta were arraigned, or when Trump was arraigned, the only special condition that was issued was that he could not speak with any of, the co-defendant or any witnesses about the case. And the prosecution was ordered to provide a list of basically the people that, Donald Trump can't talk to. And that is a list of 84 people. And that was submitted to the court, and the prosecution motioned the court to place those names under seal. Now, that's not all of the witnesses. That's just the number of people that Trump can't talk to. And they wanted it under seal. The press pool filed a motion to intervene and oppose the motion. And the judge ended up denying the press motion as moot, because by that point she had already denied the motion to keep the names under seal. So I'm sure at some point that information is going to become public knowledge. And hopefully no one does anything stupid. Like, leave these people alone. People are testifying under oath, under penalty of perjury. And if what they're saying is the truth, deal with it. The law does not care if you like the defendant. If the defendant committed a crime and there's evidence of a crime, then you have to let the court play out. We have to. It's Trump's got big ticket attorney, big paper attorneys. I'm quite sure that should this even get to trial, his attorneys are they're going to throw everything at this just to see what sticks. Um, I have no doubt that at some point they're going to file a motion to dismiss. Um, I have no doubt that they're going to try to attack the subpoena that was issued. They're going to attack the the way that the evidence was gathered. They're going to attack, the gathering of the evidence and who touched it and what did they do with it. And, um, they're going to attack all these things. They're going to throw the Presidential Records Act in as a defense. Is it going to work? Who knows? Because it's going to depend, whether it's done as in a motion, or whether it actually gets to trial and it's presented before the jury, and whether or not the jury buys it. Do I personally think he's guilty? Yup. Because he admits it. I mean, I've read the Presidential Records Act. Presidential records are not his. They belong to the government. Period. The end. He has, any president, every president, including Joe Biden right now, during your administration, that's when you figure out what's a personal record and what's a presidential record. And our nuclear information or national defense information, that's never a personal record. That is a presidential record. They become the property of the government, and you have up until the moment you leave office to figure that shit out. Every I mean, he's gonna throw that. There's no way they're not. Um, because I don't see Trump taking any type of plea deal if it includes any kind of jail, like actually going to jail, not house arrest. Um, you know, he's going to keep using this to get money out of people. And members of the Republican Party are going to use this to get money out of people. This is not the weaponization of government. Trump admits in the audio that was leaked or released, however you want to put it, that he broke this law. I mean, it is what it is. And and that has nothing to do with whether or not I like Trump or anyone else likes Trump or dislikes Trump. It has no bearing on that. It is what it is. Here's the language of the law. He's on audio tape. Is he using the words, oh, hey, I'm breaking, 18 USC 793E right now? Does he say that? No. But in what he does say, it meets the elements of that law. And we can actually have it saved. 18 US code 793. Now, there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Um, A through G, they're all slightly different, but it all has to do with, if you have stuff, whether you're, because some of them are if you're supposed to have it and you're allowed to have it, but then you have the willful retention, you refuse to return it, or you share it with someone. Um, E talks about having unauthorized possession of any document, plan, map relating to national defense or information relating to the national defense, which information the possessor has reason to believe could be used to the injury of the United States or to the advantage of any foreign nation, willfully communicates, delivers, transmits, or causes to be communicated, delivered, or transmitted, or attempts to communicate, deliver, transmit, or cause to be, like, basically, if you communicate it or give it, or through a third person, if you get your body man won't nota to move the box with the documents in it to someone else, or to, or willfully retains the same and fails to deliver it to the officer or employee of the United States entitled to receive it. He he admits that repeatedly. Every time he says, I had every right to have those documents under the Presidential Records Act, he's admitting that he broke this law, because he doesn't have the right to these documents under the Presidential Records Act. Where's Presidential Records Act? Presidential Records Act. It is Presidential Records. Ownership of presidential records. And this is 44 USC Chapter 22. So this is 2202. Ownership of presidential records. The United States shall reserve and retain complete ownership, possession, and control of presidential records, and such records shall be administered in accordance with the provisions of this chapter. 2203 is the management and custody of presidential records. Let's see. The president, this is A, 2203A. The president shall take all such steps as may be necessary to assure that the activities, deliberations, decisions, and policies that reflect the performance of the president's constitutional, statutory, or other official or ceremonial duties are adequately documented, and that such records are preserved and maintained as presidential records pursuant to the requirements of this section and other provisions of law. B, documentary materials produced or received by the president's staff, or units or individuals in the executive office of the president, the function of which is to advise or assist the president, shall, to the extent practicable, be categorized as presidential records or personal records upon their creation or receipt and be filed separately. So basically, when they're created, when a document is created, is it a presidential record? Is it a personal record? And if it's a personal record, it's over here. It's separate from presidential records. And C, during the president's term of office. So that is from noon, January 20th, in whatever year for Trump, it would be 2017 to noon, January 20th, 2021. So in between that time frame, the president, in this case, Trump, may dispose of those presidential records of such president that no longer have administrative, historical, informational, or evidentiary value if the president obtains the views in writing of the archivist concerning the proposed disposal of such presidential records. And two, the archivist states that the archivist does not intend to take any action under subsection E of this section. God, I love reading laws. They're so straightforward. Disposal schedule. F. During a president's term of office, the archivist may maintain and preserve presidential records on behalf of the president, including records in digital or electronic form. Let's see. Restrictions on access to 2204 is restrictions on access to presidential records. And 2205, exceptions to restricted access. I can talk. 2207, vice presidential records. Vice presidential records shall be subject to the provisions of this chapter in the same manner as presidential records. And okay. So all of this had to be done before he left office. There's no, time frame now. There's no negotiating once you're out of office. And I can even get how some of it happened because Trump was playing the election was stolen. I am still president. We're coming off 2 weeks from January 6th. And, him and his people, they're looking for ways to keep him in office. So I would imagine that packing up on January 20th, there was a flurry of activity. And there's also been reporting that during his administration, former aides talked about his boxes being everywhere. And that certain things were being told to, be put in certain boxes. And, so that's, he admits it every time he opens his mouth. He really needs to have people to just shove some duct tape over his mouth. Figuratively speaking, of course. I'm not advocating for anyone to, put duct tape on the former president's mouth. It's a figure of speech. He should stop talking about it because he's self-snitching. He could be messing with the jury pool if, this information is being put out everywhere. It's and this is just the documents case. This isn't the January 6th case. This isn't the, the Georgia election interference case. I think there's another case in New York that's going to be coming up. It's this isn't the only thing. I know that there are people that are going like, big deal. It's documents. This is just, this is nothing. If it was the documents of the type that Hillary Clinton had on her personal server, I'd agree. Like, get real. But that's not this. This is national defense information, and I don't I don't want anyone mishandling that. Um, I don't care who they are. If their last name is Biden and they mishandled classified documents, lock him up, charge him, indict him. Um, as for the Biden investigation into the documents that Joe Biden had from when he was a senator and then when he was vice president, I believe that investigation is still ongoing. Um, haven't heard anything yet. Um, but again, the Department of Justice has a longstanding policy that they are not going to press charges or indict a sitting president. Let's also remember that as sitting president, Joe Biden could declassify every classified document that was found in his stuff. So, let's be careful what we wish for. For everybody that argues that Trump, could declassify, that was true. Well, he was president; he could have declassified. Biden could do that now. Biden could declassify the documents that Biden had in his possession. He could declassify the documents that were in Trump's possession. You know, he's not doing that. He's letting the court play out. And I'm sorry, like he's letting the court play out against his own son. So if he's not going to cut his kid a break, I don't know why anybody else should expect him to cut anyone else a break. And ooh, what did I just do? There's like a thunderstorm rolling through, and just the weird shit on my end. Thanks, Mother Nature. Let's see, what else do we have for today? If there's anything that anybody wants to talk about, I mean, yeah, the topic is Trump's done. Um, but if anybody has any questions about anything, if there's any other topic that anyone wants to talk about, it's all fair game. It's still Pride Month. You want to talk about gay and trans stuff, whatever, that's fine with me. Um, you want to talk about the military, you want to talk about like whatever it is. We are open to all opinions, all topics. Um, we're gonna there's gonna be more to come with the Trump Florida case. Um, right now, July 6th is the new arraignment date for Walt Nauta. July 7th is the response deadline to the government's motion to postpone the trial. Um, July 14th is the pretrial hearing. July 20, I want to say 24th. It's currently the pretrial motion deadline. Because the current trial date is August 14th. Um, it's expected that some of those dates are going to change. Um, there's reporting that the Trump attorney, like the SEPA clearance process, that's being expedited so that the people on his defense team can do what they need to do in terms of being able to even see the documents. That process is apparently being fast tracked so that it doesn't cause unnecessary delay. And then depending upon the ruling of the court, whether the magistrate judge rules on that or whether Judge Cannon rules on that, that remains to be seen. And then it's going to depend on what the ruling is. So there is a lot to come in this case, just in this case alone. Timeline indicates that the Georgia election interference case, that an indictment on that should be coming down like some point in August. The New York State fraud case, that's currently scheduled for trial in March 2024. So this is just going to be a lot of follow the bouncing ball. And just don't expect to see any indictments against Joe Biden, because of the, certainly not from the DOJ, because they're of the longstanding DOJ policy to not indict a sitting president, which would mean that he would have to either stop being president through being voted out of office or being impeached and removed. So there's that. And we have before I forget, we have new merch that the story behind this is just the other day, Megadeth's Peace Cells popped into my head. And there's a line in Peace Cells that it goes, it's still we the people, right? And then it's like drum and bass and guitar. And then that just made me, so I just had that whole we the people, still we the people, right? In my head. So instead of making America great again, because I firmly believe that America is great, it's already a great. There are some opportunities for improvement in different areas, but all in all, the United States is a great country, so we're already great. A lot of the issues have to do with the political power, and and I just love the Statue of Liberty. I'm in New Jersey, so we love Lady Liberty here, and so it's a T-shirt, and it comes in 5 different colors. There's clearly the red, black, gray, navy, and royal blue. So that is new in the store today. And there are links to the merch store in the description. And then on top of there's a pinned comment to the merch store. So that's our new merch. And I just want to thank everybody that has popped in throughout the broadcast. I broadcast every live stream every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And everybody that is watching live, you do have the opportunity to physically be on screen with me and join the conversation. If you follow the links and you just don't want to be on camera, on your end, you can turn off your camera to where it's just audio. And then, we're kind of talking over the internet like a phone call. Or you can put your comments, questions, whatever, in the comment section in the live chat. You can add it as a comment once the live stream is over. And it's for anything. If you If there's a topic you want to cover or you want covered in a future live stream, I'm cool with that. Just let me know what you want. And I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everyone who stops by, who gives a like or a subscribes to the channel. Um, Shares the link. Anything, any. There is no level of support that is too small, or that is not appreciated. And but if there are no questions, we're going to wrap it up for today, and I will see everyone next Tuesday.